Good Sunday morning. Welcome back to Canyon Motorsports. I'm Ryan. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Let's get into today's build. Join us, shall you? Good morning. So we're back out here at the shop. We just got the fire stoked back up, and we're over here working on the go-kart this morning. In the last episode, a little bit's changed since then. Tucker and I yanked it back apart yesterday and finalized a few things, put everything back together, and we actually did a quick test drive last night. Found a couple hiccups. Really just one that we need to fix. But I realized that I didn't show you guys much of the pedals or the back end at all. We were just so focused on getting the thing together that we omitted a couple things. So let me take you through the back end and the pedal assembly real quick. Alright, so on the back end here, we've got our motor plate mounted. This is the one that we had cut out over at my buddy Seth's DM Targets on Instagram and Facebook. So we've got the axle flange welded both sides, the axle, or the bearing for the axle, 1-inch live axle. So the bracket for the brake caliper, you can see the cable goes through and on up to the pedal. 60-tooth sprocket, 11-tooth on the clutch, and with the 9 3/4-inch tire, this thing is geared for 20 miles an hour at 3,600 RPM, which is what the governor in this engine hits at. So then both cables going up through, along with the temporary kill wire, going underneath the seat pad, with cables going up. So here's the snafu. This throttle cable, because it was coiled for so long, you see it just moved there. The throttle cable's been hanging up. Luckily, the cable operated disc brake worked perfectly and was able to hold it. It was probably at 20% throttle, so it was able to hold it against that power. So that just gave me confidence in the brakes and my son's driving ability. Alright, so what I originally did here was I took 1/4-inch nuts and I drilled the threads out of them so the cable would fit. And it does, it fits, but my problem is that looks like shit. So what I got some of these. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drill threads out of about 3/4 of the way through, maybe 2/3. We're going to leave an end where the cable stops. I'm going to cut these off and then we're going to put these in here like that. Let's do that. That's going to be so much nicer. That looks like doo-doo. Those are going to look good. Now that we've got those cut off, we've got these great big goo gobs of weld on there. So we're gonna take these apart. I'll show you how these pedals work. We've got our folded over angle iron welded to the pedal, bolted through as a pivot, and another little chunk of angle welded on the back side as the pedal stop. So let's disassemble this and let's get stuff cleaned up and make this look presentable. How about it? This is the throttle cable. So this is how this sucker is going to slide on. Cable's just going to go right in there. And then I don't know if you can see, but she goes all the way down to about right there. That's how much cable is going to be held inside that. So we got the steering column pedal assembly back together. The last thing that we need to do to this before we reinstall it onto the cart is we need to add a kill switch to it. And I figured, why not have one with a cool red cover on it. So we're going to drill a hole in this, install the switch, and then we're going to reassemble the rest of this cart. Okay, so we have a little bit of a dilemma right here. We went to adjust the brake and pull on the cable, and I forgot this is a smaller diameter cable than the throttle is. So we pulled the sheath all the way through. So we've got to fix it. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. Here's how we're going to do it. Went down to the local hardware store and got some grub screws. These are 1/4 20. We've got our other sheath holder, cable adjuster, material bobber from the other cart. I already did one here. So what we did was we threaded it in to one side that still got threads on it, and drilled it all the way through. Then slid it all the way in and cut that slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to, on those ones, since they're already on, I should be able to thread this in without taking the cable off. And we're going to red Loctite them in so they don't ever come out. I'm going to start it up, and then once it gets going, flip the switch.
Yay, it works.
Alright, so we've come down to one of our local parking lots here, and we're just gonna, it's private, so we're just gonna give her a little run around. Okay. So there's our quick test ride on some pavement of the Hot Rod Wagon go-kart. Tucker's got to leave, and we got the seats to finish. Alright, so after our test ride with the wagon, it's time to make the seat. We're going to take a bunch of angle iron. We're going to make a seat, and it's going to look just like this. So this is our seat frame. This is the one that I've already done, but we're going to run through real quick on making the other one. You can see everything's angle iron. Even the back, we cut that down to clear the back of the wagon. And we've even made slots for adjustability on this. These are 5/16 slots for the 5/16 holes going through it, but we are going to cap them with some big old washers, and we're going to put grade 8 bolts in here just for the increased tensile strength. Then we're also going to go ahead and bolt the seat belt down. But let's go ahead and get this other one made, and then we'll go ahead and throw the seat on it and show you what it looks like finished. Alright, so we're working on the seat back bracing. So I just took a piece of angle iron, 1 inch, and I cut it down halfway on the back. That's going to allow us the clearance between here and the wagon. I've got my angles cut, bent, and welded, and then these are in here to hold them on. And I've got a transfer stud right here that we're going to scribe the back of that, and that's going to show us where to drill our hole for up here. And we're going to go ahead and get these joints welded up, welded onto the seat base, and then this second seat is done. So there's the seats all done. Let's get this thing painted. We'll be right back. So here it is, the finished version of the Radio Flyer Hot Rod Wagon from Badger Canyon Motorsports. I appreciate everyone that's joined me in this little adventure in building these. Thank you for all the new subscribers. I appreciate every one of you. We've got a lot more projects coming in the future. I'm looking at a couple around here right now. I think the next one's going to be, I think we're going to build another moto box. That, and we've got to get working on the Tri-Sport again. So stay tuned for new episodes coming out. I thank you again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you feel that we've earned it. We'll see you on the next one.